Page 38, Sweet Caroline. 4/4 time. No sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key of C major. Make sure you can do the scale for C major. You really ought to go ahead and do the scale for A minor also, because that has no sharps or flats in it either. I'm going to kind of take both hands at the same time here. The rhythm really isn't too tricky, but there's some fingering things I want to talk about. At the beginning, they've got in the left hand, little finger doing all this. That's okay if that's what you want to do, but I find it easier when I have a repeated note like this. Not only it helps me to stay relaxed, but it helps me keep track of where I'm at if I use different fingers. And so I'm going to use a 1, 3, just alternate between them. And then when I go from measure 4 to 5, I just move up. That's fine. You can't connect the notes anyway, don't try. That's what I'm suggesting for the left hand. So it's 1. Now try and get this down at the same time. And thumb here. Right now I'm kind of connecting everything. I can't connect repeated notes, but I'm not worrying about staccatos or any of that right now. Just notes and fingerings. And here, if you want to do that with the left hand, 1, 3, 1, 3, it's fine. If you want to just stick with one finger, it's up to you. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and. Measure 11. On the right hand, you're out of position for that. So I'm going to suggest for measure 11, put the thumb on the E and cross over third finger. This way you're in position to go on. So it's here, and I do a 4 and then a 5. I find that fingering a little easier. So starting at measure 11 again, it's here. The first time you play this on the last measure of the page, it's measure 15. I suggest you'll use 4th finger, not 5th. We're going to repeat back up, and you got to go to here. If I do this, I'm out of position for this. If I use 4, I'm closer to where I want to be. That's for the repeat. Now when I go on, 5th finger works better. Here. So measure 14 is here. Then repeat. But then to go on, because you got to hold that down. And these you connect. This has rests. And I do a 5-4-5. You can do a 5-5-5. If you want. This is a fairly quick little piece, so now on measure 23, I'm going to suggest you do a 1-2, 1-2-4, and then a 1-3 here. I find that easier. So measure 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. A, hold that down. It's a whole note. It's also melody, sort of. And on these, use the same finger if you want, whatever is easier for you. And when you're holding that down, you can use 3, whatever. measure 33 in the left hand. I recommend a thumb on that last note. This way you're ready when you go back to the top, you're in position to play there. Otherwise, you're out of position to play that. So a thumb on that if you can think of it. So it's here. I do 1, 2 here. You can do 1, 3 if you want. It's just, I'm already there. So then at the end, the last 2 made the coda. You have these chords. It's the same pattern going up. And when I get this kind of thing, I put my hand in that position for this chord, whatever it is, and I aim 1 finger, and I let the other fingers just go along. Which finger I aim doesn't matter. If there's a melody, I'll usually aim that. So maybe it's a little here, and then I'll just let the other fingers go. And I flex of the wrist here, don't get stiff. See, the problem with this is that in trying to maintain this position, you'll get tense because you don't want to move that position. If you'll flex the wrist, that will help you stay loose. Because you can stay loose and still keep that position. So keep it here. So once you have it, and no hesitations anywhere, and we go back in and we add the staccatos and accents. At the beginning, just lift up. Just lift up between, and this, just bounce along. Accent staccato, just a little louder. Short staccato. And on measure 15, whether you repeat or go on, either one, doesn't matter. Connect the note to what's next. So if you repeat, if you go on, then connect it to measure 16. Use 5th finger. Here. This is all very smooth. It's contrast what we had. Until you get to measure 26 or so and you go back up. And again, connect measure 25 to measure 26. Like so. No accents, just staccatos. Accent. That A is accented. Can you play that louder in the out? It needs to sound like one hand played both. Then on the coda, again, short. Well, if you're doing this, this shouldn't be a hard, and then you slow down. To me, in this this is a nice arrangement except for the coda, and it's like, well, they didn't know how to end it, so they just did that. If you can come up with a better ending on this after you've learned it, I encourage you to use your ending rather than this one. Now, speed, well, it says bouncing. They want this in a swing style. The counting isn't 1 and 2 and 3 and the counting is 1 and 2 and 3. You feel it. There's no notation for it. They're saying it's equal to like a triplet. It's not exactly a triplet. It's close. So you feel it. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And you feel this, and that kind of tells you how fast to go. It's a fast swing, though. It's just the 8th notes now. Bum, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, all the way through. It's a happy piece. Now, they've added pedal in on page 39 there. And this helps with the contrast. Helps us to connect some of these chords, and it provides the overtones. That's really what it's for. It's like at the bottom of the page on measure 32 and 33. There it's more for connecting the chords as well as the overtones too, but really it's the chords we want to connect. And so there. And then at the end, the last measure, is for overtones. You see, if you're going to pedal, you pedal for reasons. You don't just pedal because the music there has to be some reason for it. Otherwise, don't bother. And here it's for contrast. It adds overtones and it helps to connect things together. Now we lose the rests at measure 16. We lose these rests in the right hand. That's fine. You still play it as though there's a rest there, even though you can't hear it. So like on measure 6, I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. Change it. Now if they didn't change it because you're getting louder here. You're increasing, and so they lift the pedal down. So it gets a bit smeary. If you don't like it, it's too smeary for you, then change the pedal at the measure line. Or actually, change the pedal with a harmony. So it's here, then change. This is the same chord. Now change. So you're changing with the harmony in and then lift up on the staccato, we need them. Now when you get over to page 16 on these pedals, you can, if you want, like on measure 18, change it with the half notes in the left hand to clean some of that out. Again. So it's on measure 18, 20, and 22. I was changing with the half notes just to clear some of that out to make this cleaner. Don't have to, you can leave it down if you want, but to me it sounded a little better. And on measure 23. And here. Now dynamics, they apply to the melody, or what in theory is a melody. And the right hand here, that's soft. This needs to be in the background. And you have a crescendo poco al poco, which means get a little louder, get louder, little by little. You're going to go all the way up to loud, but you don't want to be loud until measure 8. So you've got the first 8 measures or so to go from soft to loud. If you don't plan it out, you'll be loud by the second measure. So I'm suggesting the first 2 measures just stay soft. Now come up just a hair. Come up just a little bit more. Maybe moderately soft. Now moderately loud. Now you're loud. Like that. So it's a gradually crescendo. You have to plan them out. On measure 8, it's loud for 2 beats, and then moderately soft. Well, both hands are loud for the first 2, and then the left hand has to go very soft. Good luck. And they didn't tell you, but on these accents, go ahead and play them all the same. Play them loud if you want. Back up to loud. Measure 16, moderately loud, whatever you think that is. Everything else is soft. Not loud. Didn't tell me to get louder anywhere. I just felt it. So at least there on measure 25, if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and get crescendo there. And if you're loud, everything else is under it. Accent, accent. Everything else stays under it. The melody. Now measure 32, you're coming back down. You don't slow down, you're just coming back down, so you go back to the beginning where it's soft. And the coda then is loud. Accented, you don't need accents on those, just play them loud. Get to know it well enough, you start feeling this dynamics. Just don't play it all the same level of dynamics. Yuck. I don't like the pedaling there on measure 28 here. I think they're only doing that so to hold the A out so you don't have to. No, don't pedal that measure. Hold that down with your hand. You ought to be able to do that. I want to keep the same style in the left hand. I don't want to mess that up there. So I would not pedal measure 28 or 29. As far as where you're going when, in case you're confused, at the bottom of page 38, you have a repeat sign that sends you back to measure 8 on the reverse repeat sign. Okay. Then at the end of the fourth line there, it's measure 31, I think. There's another repeat sign. There's a first and second ending there. Well, that sends you to the reverse repeat sign at measure 26. So you go back up to there and do that part again. Then you take the second ending, and that has a DC coda. So DC means go back to the beginning. So then you go back to the beginning, and the coda sign is at the end of the second line. So when you finish that measure, you immediately jump to the coda. And it's kind of running around. I don't know if I really need to, but I'll go ahead and do a play with me so you can play along with me very slowly just to check your notes and rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics, but I'm going to do all the repeats and everything just like it's written. I'll give us 4 counts, and let's play it together if you want to. Even just one hand at a time if you need to. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And 1.